Apple's framework for MDM and DMS is built into Apple operating systems and provides a secure and consistent protocol for MDM developers to manage Apple platforms. This framework enables device enrollment, device configuration, and device-to-server communication. And it's important to note that while Apple's MDM framework is extensive, not all the framework features are implemented in every MDM solution. When you're reviewing MDMs to select one, make sure to consult the vendor's documentation to ensure that the solution you're looking at supports the framework features that you need. There are a number of different settings available throughout Apple's MDM framework. You can place these into one of four categories: configuration profiles, or specifically payloads; device restrictions; commands sent to the device, such as a restart; and queries, such as asking the device how much available disk space is remaining. In the resources section of this lesson, I have included a link to Apple's Platform Deployment Guide. This is basically the owner's manual for Apple device management. I'd recommend reading through this document to better understand all of the features available in the MDM framework. We'll be referencing various parts of this document throughout the rest of this course. Let's talk just a little bit more about Apple's MDM or DDM protocol. As I had mentioned, this is built in at the operating system level, and it runs natively and securely on the device. This protocol is what allows a device to understand and respond to an MDM command, and it's built into every Apple operating system as standard. These are APIs that are designed by Apple to allow for specific management capabilities. There are several key functions of the MDM protocol, including enabling device management, allowing the device to enroll in management, and handling device assignment. Enabling configuration and executing commands, responding to queries, checking in with the server and sending status reports, and of course enabling declarative communication and installing content like apps from the App Store or books from the Apple Bookstore. Now, I'd mentioned payloads. Let's briefly talk about payloads. Payloads are delivered via configuration profiles and are the specific configuration or restriction setting for a given feature, for example, Wi-Fi or VPN. Payloads can be OS specific. While some payloads may apply across all of Apple's operating systems, some may apply only to one OS. For example, a payload that configures the login window is really only going to be available to Mac OS, because iOS, Vision OS, and watchOS really don't feature a login screen. Payloads can be stacked or combined to allow you to customize a unique experience for your users. For example, you can apply the VPN payload to all your users' devices, but only configure users in the marketing department to have access to Adobe Creative Cloud. We'll demonstrate how this works in great detail later in the course. And if you take a look at the Apple Platform Deployment Guide, you're going to find a comprehensive list of payloads in the Apple MDM framework. I should also note here that payloads may not be named the same in every MDM. You'll have to look at your specific MDM's documentation to determine how and where they implement a specific payload in their given solution. And finally, just a little note about Apple's platform lifecycle. Apple updates their platforms across all their product lines annually. Starting in 2026, they began naming all their OS releases after the year they're supported. For example, in 2026, we have Mac OS 26, iOS 26, watchOS 26, and so forth. Typically, they'll preview the new operating systems and features in June of each year at the Worldwide Developer Conference. This is where you can learn a great deal about the new features coming in the fall's new product releases. This also gives you the opportunity to test beta versions of these new operating systems in your environment, provide feedback to Apple, and make sure that your environment is optimized to support these changes and new features. And finally, in the fall, when these releases go live, you'll have the opportunity to roll out the new operating systems and educate your users on how to take advantage of the various new features. It's really an annual commitment to stay on top of Apple's always improving fleet of products and services. If you're serious about managing Apple devices at scale, you really need to get on board with this release cycle and ensure optimum testing during the beta periods in the summer.